Welcome
break
to
it
another
down
edition
for the
of
people
Just
what it
Kicking
is.
It.
Like, so what is the Super League? Like,
That's what we're finna talk about. This is the Just Kicking It podcast. We back. I know me and B, we're at the top of your screen. We predicted this a long time ago. I think our plan was much better for the Super League. They jumped out the window way more than we thought they were. I just want to keep that in mind. Yeah. Our idea of the Super League was like more exhibition-esque style thing.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We called this early on, and I think our flavor on it is a little bit better than what we got right now. But like you're saying, let's define and go ahead and break down for the viewers, exactly what the Super League is as it's currently molded.
And so we got Double Deep, who's coming back with us, and Rick, who's back, Liverpool, Man U, Chelsea, all the culprits, as Brandon said, all people with cases right now on the line.
The usual suspects.
Right.
So the Super League, we teased this before. We said it would just be, we said 16 teams, 4 from every Premier League, 4 to 5 from every league, and it would be exhibition style. We wanted to be on an island, remember? We wanted to be like a weekend, like on an island.
Like Fight Island.
Yeah, it wasn't all year round. We had it like a tournament over like a week and a half on a sheik having a big island and renting out and just making a field for the week. And there's teams that's playing each other for a knockout, for an exhibition, and a big cash grab at the end. Like what we was somebody getting like $1 million a player or something crazy.
Yeah.
Like, if you won the whole thing.
Kind of like Bloodsport was, I think that's the next level, right? They flew in all the best from all over the world, it's one tournament, winner take all, super high stakes, but we got something a little different here, man, in so many different angles, man. I'm interested to hear what you boys got to say about this, man.
Rick, go ahead first. Liverpool fans have been the most vocal so far in these last 24 hours.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's blatant disregard for the history of the sport, for the history of the.
Hey, Rick, your audio's a little low.
Let me turn it up.
Yeah,
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm saying it's a blatant disregard for like the history of the sport, the history of the club. Like, we've been, I've been a Liverpool supporter for way over 30 years. You know what I mean? So. For me, it's looking at the history, looking at all the things that we did, and then looking at what's going on. I mean, this is just a killer. So here, I'm of two minds, right? Because I think they did it for a reason. I don't think the Super League is actually going to happen.
Me neither. I agree with you.
I don't think it's actually going to happen, but I think it was to force the hand of UEFA into giving the clubs more money. UEFA pockets $700 billion off of the Champions League. And the winning
team only gets like 20 million or something.
No, the winning, if you win all the way out, you get like 110 million.
Yeah, and they pocket in the other.
And they pocket in $700 million, right? UEFA pockets 700
to grow the game.
To grow the game, right? 700 million, and the winning club only gets 100 million. You know what I'm saying? So they are pocketing a lot of the revenue, and and this is the thing, and that's just the thing. They own all the merchandising rights too. The clubs don't get nothing from the merchandising.
Oh,
right?
really?
So, yeah, I mean, if you sell a ball with the branding of the Champions League, no club logo is on there. It's a Champions League logo. Right. UEFA owns the Champions League, so they get the merchandising rights, right? From the Champions League, from the name, from all of that. Think of all the sponsorship money, So I don't think the Super League is up, but I think it's just to force UEFA's hand. Now UEFA came out strong by saying, hey, we're going to ban all the clubs and we're going to ban the players, but they can't do that either, right? So it's just a back and forth to me of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you ban all the clubs that come out and said, hey, we're going to join the Super League, you're banning 3 of this year's 4 semifinalists. Right. So if you ban 3 of those and say, let me go back and get the next set up, guess who you going to? Liverpool, These are the same guys that are banned. So you go down to the next tier to bring guys up. These guys are banned too. Wait a minute, but these. So it's,
next thing you got Lazio in the finals.
Right, you can't ban nobody, and I don't think UEFA doesn't have any rights to stop anybody from playing in the World Cup, like they said. That's a FIFA mandate.
Yeah, that's
and FIFA hasn't said anything in regards to that. This is just UEFA talk. We're going to ban you from playing the World Cup. Well, you can't do that. You don't own the World Cup.
Right.
You own the European tournament. You're the European body. You're not the world governing body, so you can't stop anybody from playing in the world game. Maybe the Euros, but not the world game. All right, that's all fine, said and done. That's one set of it. Next thing I'm looking at is it's going to destroy the way football is now, the way soccer is now in all of these countries. Because if you take those teams, you take the 6 from England and you give them 300 million each, they can buy all the best players. If they buy all these best players and they're always up there doing that, then how does the smaller clubs compete? What hope do the smaller clubs really have? Then, these clubs are never going to get a chance to even play in Europe to make some of this money. They're basically just going to be out. And will this money even trickle down to beyond the championship? Maybe the first division, second division, third division. Right now, the money trickles down. It's not a lot of money that's trickling down, but it at least trickles down. I don't think this is going to, have that same kind of trickle down effect. It's going to basically destroy all these leagues. And how do you bring talent through? How do you bring these young players through? If you don't have any leagues or any club structures left to develop these players, and how do you bring young players through? How do you bring talent through? Right? Because all these clubs have an academy. Academies play against other academies. They play in academy leagues. So England has an academy league, an under-21 league, where they play against each other, where they learn, they go through the whole stages. If you are just destroying clubs, then where are these clubs going to play? What is going to be? How do you get this talent? Where does this talent show up? Right? They're not going to be playing these elite academies like Liverpool and Chelsea and Man U and Barcelona, Real Madrid. So where's your how are you going to grow your talent? What are the things that you're going to put in place to grow this talent, to bring this talent in? And I think it's way more than they even thought about. I don't think they expected the kind of feedback that they got. I don't think they thought everything out. I mean, you've seen how vocal the Liverpool fans are. I mean, we got banners outside of Anfield right now. We got planes flying overhead when we played Leeds today, So it's going to be, I mean, even James Miller in the after game interview today said he doesn't like it. He doesn't want that to happen. He doesn't want to participate. Klopp came out and spoke about it a while ago. And you can bet every major coach is going to have to face these questions this week, right? Every one of these 6 coaches is going to have to face, except Jose Mourinho. He's no more.
And I think that's a setup. I think Jose Mourinho got set up, though. I think he got for Spurs will have to talk about their whole being a part of this. They have to talk about their manager being fired. Like, hey man, it's time for you to go anyway. We go switch
the news up. Take a comment on him. He still had a chance of lifting a trophy, man. That's crazy. You know what I mean?
That's why he was sacrificial. They was like, hey man, that news ain't coming out good.
Yeah, well, think about it. I mean, Jose Mourinho gets sacked is the second biggest news, coming out of the football world. I mean, like that's crazy. Like normally you get Jose Mourinho sacked, everybody's like, oh my God, Jose is sacked. Now it's like, oh wait, Jose got sacked, but what about the Super League though?
See, I think they didn't do the Super League the way with me and B had it set up with the finesse. We had it where everybody, I think if they would have said anybody can get into it and it is relegation, I think a lot of people were mad about there was no relegation if those teams were locked.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of, they do have one of the proposals that they had did include an aspect of relegation.
Yeah, but there's only 5 teams that were going to be regulated.
Well, yeah.
Right, but
we said the whole league would be relegated.
And then you have the ones that could get relegated.
We were saying the whole league is relegated. We were saying like, yo, if you're in the bottom 4 of the league.
Oh, every team up for grabs?
Every team was up for grabs. It was a cash grab. You got to have your 20 mil to put up to come in.
I got you.
Hey, okay. I wanted to approach this from another angle, and I think Rick made a lot of really, really good points there. But you know how people talk about cops explaining, how a police officer explained something.
Yeah.
I saw a wrinkle where they're saying basically this is American explaining, right?
Yeah.
This is all being fueled by the American owners, the foreign ownership. So to Rick's point, they don't care about the 150.
I don't even, but you got to think about it, B. It's a little bit deeper than that, because Real and Barca and all the Italian teams, they ain't making they pushing it. Isn't Juve's owner the head of it? So it can't
to piggyback on what he's saying real quick. Let me just add this to what I think you're going with it, and I agree, because I'm having the same thought. It's not so much that they don't care. So it's more like it's the market. So we need to get to an untapped market. So we want that American, Australian, Japanese, these other countries where they're not in Europe to where they're just indoctrinated and watching this regularly. We need those people in those countries. I just wanted to add that to what you were saying. Right?
Yeah, no, you absolutely right. And I think it's both things combined, because like you're saying, there's new markets to tap into. So that's the financial piece. It's being bankrolled by JP Morgan Chase, $6 billion. So that's an American bank. Right? Some of these clubs have foreign ownership groups like Manchester City, right? And then, they're saying it's like you're saying, it's the American influence, where basically it's not about, having the biggest army anymore. It's about having the correct mercenaries to go in and accomplish the mission. And that's kind of what turning into this mercenary football, versus growing it from the bottom up, the youth up.
So it follows American sports logic, right? It follows American sports logic.
Absolutely, 100%.
There's no relegation in MLS. There's no incentive for you to do. There's no, oh man, we got to play harder because we might go down. If you lose, you just lose. You're like, all right, next year we'll come back.
Two things to add to that, as far as it being an American concept.
It's basically the American sports model.
It's
the American sports model.
And that's American sports model makes dough. That's the thing.
Capitalist,
NFL, NBA, it's the same thing. There's no other league below you. Nobody gets relegated. There's nothing, look, the Clippers suck for years.
It's about,
there's no consequences for you sucking, right?
It's about selling a high stakes season versus a legacy of a club, a history of a club. That's the two different models, and you're absolutely right. That's the American way, because season to season players change, and those are the new chapters. Those are the new stories year over year, versus the 150 years of Liverpool and the old stadium and all of that. And that's interesting, man, because we all know that will make money at the end of the day. I think the flip side of the coin becomes, at what stakes.
Here's a second thing to think about. Why it's fueled by greed. Remember, Barcelona ain't got no money.
Yeah, Barcelona's broke right now.
Barcelona's broke. Man U is in debt. Liverpool's got greedy FSG owners. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Let's not talk. We ain't even talking about the Kroenkes and the Daniel Levy's.
They had to let go of janitors at Arsenal.
You get what I'm saying? Like clubs, right? Look at AC Milan hasn't been relevant in years. You know what I mean? Inter Milan, they just came up this year. None of these clubs, half of these clubs haven't been really relevant. They're historic clubs. They got history, but a lot of them haven't been relevant in the last few years.
And that's a big thing. And that's where it's coming in with that influence. It's like, where their American thing is, as far as, and also British, that Sky Sports deal, they're all trying to really key in on that. And it's like the American version of that being kind of a pay-per-view model. So if we can consolidate the teams and get some type of TV deal that we either own outright or have the direct, revenue stream from, where we get a good percentage of it, we're good to go. We don't need to go through ESPN and NBC and CBS. We can just go through a pay to watch type thing.
And I think they want want more control of their, because I'm going with Rick. I think they're going to come up with a thing of like, yo, we control our home game viewership. So if we get a deal, if Man U gets a deal with Amazon Prime to show their Champions League games on there, or maybe those big six come together and say, yo, we're going to be on Amazon Prime for all our Champions League games. They want to be able to negotiate on their own.
Right. To negotiate to stay in. I got
yes. And because they're gonna be like, man, I'm not getting no bread off of that. It's hard as hell to man. You to get a Champions League game on is like you gotta go through 50 different clicks on CBS. It's like ridiculous.
Right.
The Champions League, and it's hard as hell to fucking watch.
Disney lost the rights. If Disney still had the rights,
you could pay for Paramount Plus.
It'd be better to watch.
Right, but I mean, but what if it was on Amazon Prime? I would pay $10 extra a month for extra access of all that stuff with those big six.
You know, over there in the UK though, their pay-per-view model is different for how they watch the Premier.
Isn't it by game?
It's per game, so it's not like just go sign up for the season pass like we have in the States. It's per game, and I think then you talk about like pay-per-view. It's like a Mike Tyson fight every weekend. It's $75, $100 to watch a game.
Depending on who the matchup is.
That's why the pub game is strong, baby. The pub game is strong.
Hey, I think that they're missing out a bit because I think everybody had their own beef with their own conference, with their own leagues.
Absolutely.
So I think the Big Six are mad because they want to get rid of that Carabao Cup. I think that's theirs. I think that Real and like Barca are mad that all these other cats like Osana is taking all their bread in their league, and it's really them two that's holding the whole league together. And then the Italian leagues don't have any money at all. Like
I think it's a different.
they pay Ronaldo to basically go on tour to help out the whole league. Like they basically everybody pay for Ronaldo and Juve so they all can make money. Like, yo, hey, look here, man. Somebody sign him so we can put him on tour and get these stadiums filled up.
Yeah, get on TV again.
So each one of them leagues had a beef in it. I think PSG's lying. Them cats was involved. I don't care if nobody say PSG was involved. They just was last to the club. And
they seem like they would be an obvious shoe-in to one.
It's the same family that owns Man City. It's the same family that owns Man City.
PSG was involved. And you think Bayern wasn't going to be involved? I think Bayern aren't
they turned it down.
Bayern might be the only one I can believe. I can believe Bayern. I can believe that.
Isn't Bayern one of the only German teams that aren't owned by the people?
No. It's owned by the fans.
By the people. Yep.
Is Bayern owned by the fans?
It is.
Okay. So Bayern may be out then. Okay. But PSG ain't no way. Ain't no way. When they come up and then PSG somehow we don't want to be. I was like, come on, man.
Ain't nobody else in France. We don't need you.
They waiting. But you have to remember too that PSG being in Paris, that is the capital city of FIFA. So they may be playing that waiting game.
Good point.
Unless last second, like, let's jump ship if it all,
Yeah, because if this league really went on, you think PSG ain't gonna be in it? Come on.
You know what?
That's the most obvious. They should be the central team trying to do this.
Yeah, they got money.
Because their league sucks. They don't make no bread in their league. All their bread comes from the
team. They a few years ago, because they had like a cool little deal with NBC. I think they still do. But
they do. Yeah, they do have a deal with NBC.
Well,
they got money. These people are rich. It's the same people that own Man City. They sponsor themselves.
The league itself isn't really all that internationally profitable. Yeah. But I mean, the incentive is different depending on where the teams are from. So it's basically the English teams and then the non-English teams. Like all the non-English teams, the incentive is the same. That they need they are wanting to get the type of profit that the English teams are getting. The English teams that are trying to lead.
The English teams make money. I mean, outside of the English teams, Barcelona and Real Madrid are the only other two big bread pullers.
Exactly.
And the English team is only funded because of their TV deal. Their TV deal is crazy.
That's where they're all trying to get. That's the TV deal is the key.
The TV deal is ridiculous. It's like $6 billion.
I got this. Look, I'm telling you, we got to get rid of this Carabao Cup. I think that's one of the main things that the Big Six is mad. We got to get rid of this Carabao Cup.
Let me tell you,
because that's more money, like more games.
No. I got to wait for the Carabao Cup. I thought of it last night. I woke up. I was like, "This is it. The answer. I have the answer." You let all the lower leagues play in the Carabao Cup. The winner of that gets to go into the relegation tournament. Just kind of like how the style of the Bundesliga is, where basically the last three teams in Division 1, and then not the top two in Division 2, let them automatically go up. But those bottom three go in a tournament with the next three after those top two, and then the Carabao Cup winner, if that Carabao Cup winner, in a tournament for the last relegation spot. Tell me that wouldn't be able to get paid. People would be all about that. And you keep the president of the Carabao Cup. Those people still get their thing of like their tradition and things like that, because they got to let it go, because these cats in English Premier League plays in more games than everybody.
Yeah. Jam-packed Christmas.
Yeah.
You got to think too, a part of this Super League too comes down to financial fair play, right? You remember when UEFA introduced that, and it was a way for the little clubs.
What does that mean though, Rick?
Nothing. That's the point. It means nothing, because so far
an invisible
PSG has been
salary
able
cap.
to do whatever they want to do with no repercussion. Man City did what they wanted to do with no repercussions, right? All these clubs are spending money and no repercussions. So cats is like teams like Liverpool who are trying to stay within that model, right? We got cheap owners. They don't want to spend money. So they try to stay within the FFP model. Now they're like, well, if they're gonna be able to spend money, we might as well jump in the same league as them so we can get the same money as them. Then we can then we can spend and keep up and everything. Ain't nobody worried about the little man.
Ridiculous.
But financial fair play spurred this because people are like, well, why we can't spend money? How you don't spank City? How you don't, none of these big clubs have any repercussions. The little clubs, you spend $100 more than you should, they're coming for you.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. Chelsea is one of the clubs that did have repercussions from
But that was after some
No, that wasn't for financial fair play. That was for stealing academy players, though. That wasn't for financial fair play. You guys are stealing people. You guys had this whole loan army. You guys had like 85 cats on loan all at once. It's crazy. That's what you got hooked up for. You didn't get hooked up for spending money.
Hey, you talk about ways to find the talent. That's just a way of going about doing it.
They're like, hey guy, you're 10 years old. You can play. We'll give you $100,000. You come to Chelsea.
Hey, but you know what? I know you said James Milner came out and said what he said, but you really haven't heard a lot of the players. You haven't heard the players' union say a whole lot, and I think they're real quiet right now because imagine, man, each one of these guys could be on $300,000 a week.
Everybody, look, the bread that can be made. Think about the
unionize it.
Listen, my thing is, you think PSG's gonna be able to keep Mbappe if they don't get in this league? He gone. If this Super League, he gone. You think Haaland? You think Haaland gonna stay at Dortmund? He already gone.
Say PSG is going. If the league happens, PSG is
gonna be in there.
PSG is done.
You think Dortmund's gonna keep Haaland? Man, Haaland might as well just leave now. If this
he's
going on. Just go ahead and fly to London and figure it out. And figure it out when you get there. What team you gonna sign?
He's going to Madrid. He's going to Madrid.
What? It don't matter.
I don't know, man. His pop is a Liverpool fan, right? They grew up as Liverpool.
Ah, man.
Here we go. Here we go.
No, seriously, look it up. Look it up. If you don't believe me, Google it right now. Haaland's father is like actual Liverpool.
It don't mean nothing, man.
He go to Man City.
Come on over to the red, man.
So no, I do have a question about the FIFA thing, the UEFA trying to ban all these different things. This is like banning the for the sake of banning. You can't do it. I mean, yes, like you said earlier, Rick. Like, okay, you want to kick them out the Premier League? You're going to end the Premier League if you want to kick them out, or if you want to end UEFA kicking them out.
Here's the thing.
Wait, what do you mean by kick them out?
They're talking about kicking them out. They was trying to kick them out of Champions League coming up. Like they're trying to say, y'all not in the.
If you ban the World Cup,
I thought it was only if they actually left. I thought it was only if they actually followed through.
They're talking about you got 48 hours.
Yeah.
Just for the threat of it.
It's breaking their current bylaws. Just even agreeing to this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so they actually have violated some.
You can't stop a country from.
You can't kick them out. Listen, your hands are tied because essentially there's nothing you can do because you're going to cripple yourself. It's like you're cutting off your hand to spite your face. My mom used to say that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you can't ban nobody from playing in the World Cup. And say you ban these clubs and the players get banned. So you're gonna tell me you're gonna have a World Cup with no Cristiano Ronaldo, no Messi, no Salah, no Mbappe, no Paul Pogba.
I think the reason they put that out there is because if we put this type of threat out there, even though we can't necessarily follow through on it, it's in the air. FIFA can, and we've put a clear cut.
But we already know FIFA Qatar's got the World Cup.
FIFA can't either because here's the thing: it's not just the best players in England. This is the best players all over the world that play in these leagues. So essentially, you're banning all the best players from all these teams in the world. This is what draws people to watch a World Cup.
But those aren't the only players.
You're not going to get that same viewership.
Nobody's going to hold on, y'all. This is how the U.S. wins the next World Cup right here. This is
exactly.
But then again, you have to put out
AllStar.
That's it. Captain America, the only one. Everybody.
No, you got the old dude at Barcelona.
Stephens at Man City. You got Stephens at Man City.
Yeah, you got the right back at Barcelona.
McKinney.
But see, this is what you guys missing. Like again, back to why this is like the American model is. It's almost like how the USA looks at basketball. If it's not the NBA, it's irrelevant. Nobody's checking out Olympic basketball. I mean, you got a couple of dream teams, but that's it. Nobody cares. It's the same sort of thing now where you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter if they ban them, whatever they do. The World Cup essentially becomes irrelevant, and the Super League becomes the must-see tune in.
So they're gonna have to deal. I know it sucks and fans don't like it, but they're gonna have to deal with these Super League teams.
Here's the flip side now. Here's the flip side. Do fans want to see Man U play Real Madrid every year, 3 times a year? You get what I'm saying?
It's like, me personally, I don't think fans really want the Super League. I think
none of the fans.
I'm selfish. And I do want the Super League.
And that's a good point, though, because you're an American fan.
Exactly, I'm an American fan.
Condensed, right. You know, now I don't need to watch every league. I got it all in one place. It's easy.
You see what I'm saying? And that makes sense, and that's a valid point. And
you know how many more?
For me, that's what the Champions League is good for.
Think about this, Double D. How many more Americans will watch if you saw that Cristiano Ronaldo's playing Messi? Those are 2 names you know. You can get an average fan over here.
It's the way you can brand it too. That commercial comes on a lot different. Now you're not having to explain, okay, well, you know, Barcelona came in 2nd place last season and they're in what's called the Champions League and they're playing a team from another league. They're in it. You don't have to explain all that. It's just this week, Thursday, coming on 7:30 Central, and that's all you gotta say.
You can run it like a Pepsi ad, salad to Messi.
Yeah.
You already know the 16 teams that are in there because it's every like season these 16 teams. They're on the video game. You pick from them 16 teams, whoever colors you like. You know what time it is with their country and everything because you picked them and you've seen those 16 teams. Exactly. It's like signs and zodiac. How you know all 12 of them. You know,
and maybe the American thing is maybe, and I get it from the you know, I guess that'd be like somebody coming to NFL teams and doing that, but this makes so much sense to me.
I understand, and that's why they're pushing. And
I know it sucks.
I just don't think Europe is the place to do it. I don't think. I was saying, like, this would be good for. Let's say we're talking about Europe. Like if they did this for a sport like basketball, they were like, we're gonna do a Super League for basketball. Boom, that makes sense because the way that your structure is for that sport is not that deep. So having just it, you know what I'm saying, like specialized like that to those few little teams makes sense. But for the way their sport of soccer is, football, country to country, man, there's so much depth and so much like intricacies with the way that those leagues are interconnected. Like this just doesn't fit in at all.
That money,
but it does have a lot of good merit. So if they did that like here and you know what I mean, like Africa, that kind of could work out like that, just in the main cities, like just doing.
I hear what you're saying, and I do agree with you because you're killing something to give something new life. Absolutely right, but you know we've seen this throughout history, man. You know, streetcars had to get killed off. You know,
and that's why I could see this happening. That was an AFL. I could very much see this happening. You know, the Champions League having a very strong resemblance to a Super League type vibe. You know what I mean? Like,
and I tell you what, if they figure out how to referee this thing correctly, utilize VAR correctly, or get rid of it altogether and bring back the essence of the game, where you can really. You know, a goal is scored and you can celebrate and the energy is there. If they figure out how to handle that piece, man, this will be a slam dunk.
I know it sucks, man. I know people are upset about it.
I think it needs to be completely restructured.
I think they jumped out the window without having it fully planned out.
First of all, Arsenal and Tottenham, they can get relegated. I don't give a damn about them too. Nobody cares about them too.
Yeah,
let's just relegate them now. You know what I mean?
They can't even pay for the janitors.
You have some clubs in there that have no relevance. That we should be able to relegate them. Maybe keep 6-7 clubs that don't get relegated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now you can relegate. Now you have 13 players to be relegated. It gives some more credence, some more relevance to that.
That's my thing. I think if they said anybody can be relegated.
I think more relegation in there.
More relegation needs to be in there. Then it would give you a little bit more to say, hey, and if you have relegation, that means you have a next league below, right? That means it gives the little clubs now something to play for.
I don't know. Now they can devil's advocate, though. I mean, you guys keep saying that you don't think it's real and it's just a play to kind of get UEFA to, do things a little bit differently on the financial side. JP Morgan Chase is not playing. You don't come up with $6 billion, you know, to play coy with somebody, you know. So, and that's the other thing that me and D was talking about. D, I was trying to get at you on the text. How does JP Morgan turn a profit in this deal? You know?
Oh, they finna put this on the road. They finna put this on the road. We gonna get PSG versus Man U in Chicago. That's what's finna happen.
Man,
this is a show. You gotta have a preseason, right? They have to travel. These teams have to travel.
Like the Globetrotters, they just gonna travel the world and put on games.
Because they don't have to play in their home stadium. You know what I mean? It's not like how it is.
They can come to America to play.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Could you imagine what the ticket price goes for? And like,
oh my God!
Well, no, you know what? Really, what they would end up doing, you know what I'm saying? They probably would end up having like little mini tournaments in various cities. You know what I'm saying? Like 4, 6 teams at a time, maybe in Chicago.
Doing like, you know, it's like the International Champions Cup.
Right.
They travel all over. You get the teams, your fans go crazy. Listen, I've been to some games here in Miami when they brought the International Champions Cup, and it's crazy. The stadium is packed. The teams are selling merchandise out the wazoo because all the American fans are now down there buying scarves and all. I'm like, who the hell is in Miami buying a scarf? But they buying them up. You get what I'm saying? They buy them up. And it's ridiculous. This is how much money these clubs are making on the road. So you can take it on the road and you can take it to different countries and you can do whatever you want with it. Then now you have a significant pot to choose from. Your money is up now because now you got
cash cow. I mean, like I said, you cannot deny the financial benefits that something like this could provide.
Yeah.
I don't like how it would develop. And as far as like on the field, how it would affect soccer, I don't think it would have a positive effect or impact on soccer on the field. I think it would be very negative because I think what would end up happening as you consolidate it down to that small talent pool like that, it becomes very industrialized and commoditized to where it's just, I can see it becoming a very, very robotic experience to where the tactics and
I don't know about that. Look at the NBA. The NBA finds the best players wherever they are. Don't matter.
But you have to look at, that's a whole different thing. Because you have to look at that player pool. You have to look at the number of teams. You have to look at the amount of leagues that are widespread, this, that, and the third. Like that's what we're getting away from. We're getting away from that set structure. And now we're getting to, okay, we're going to take the cream of the crop and just have that be in a isolated bubble. And that's what I'm saying, putting it like that.
I think that we already wasted some of the best years of CR7 and Messi just only playing each other. And there's no other good people they playing every year. Yeah. But we only want, like we wasted some of the best years of their life. They almost 40 years old.
It wasn't a waste. It wasn't a waste. It was a celebration. That's what you have to watch La Liga. It's a celebration when you watch La Liga. It's a party.
Right. But think about if you saw CR7 go up against Chelsea with Drogba, you know, when he was at his prime, and they go heads up.
They do in the Champions. That's what makes the Champions League so special.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't. That's not guaranteed.
Yo, that's crazy.
That's what makes it dope. Because when it happens, then it's like, ooh, okay, let's see what happens.
Some of the greatest games were in these Champions League. Some of the greatest games.
Champions League is exciting. Like that's what I'm saying. The prestige of the Champions League.
And the Champions League finna get even worse
like
with the Swiss model.
Below international.
With the Swiss model they're doing, it's finna get even worse.
The Swiss model? What's that?
That's the thing. They dropped before. So UEFA was going to drop their new model today. That's why they announced theirs Sunday.
They rushed it out though because they
rushed it out before, and I guess
I didn't read what their format was.
Woodward and them and met with them already. Like, no, this is cool. We good to go. On Thursday, they drop on Sunday, and they're supposed to have an announcement on Monday about this new Swiss model.
Right.
So the new Swiss model is basically a big ass league. It's going to be like 20 teams. You play 10 games. And then like the teams with the best records go to the knockout stage.
Okay, so instead of
it's not gonna be groups.
Instead of having those
so you may only
groups,
get you ain't gonna get Real Madrid versus Barcelona twice. You're gonna play them one time.
So it's gonna be like the Eastern Conference in the NBA where you got whatever teams and then the top 8.
Well, you might see them play twice if they're in the same
you probably play each other twice, give each other an advantage. You give everybody the same advantage, home field, whatever it is. And then the top 8 moves on to the playoffs to knockout.
Yep. And then like the bottom, if you're in the second tier, you drop down to Europa, you know, etc.
And then have a path for qualification that way for those top teams to keep it around the tournament.
I mean, that's not even really a change though. That's just like kind of just moving laterally. They didn't really even alter anything from what.
Oh, and they're adding 4 teams. They're adding 4 teams.
But see that, and that's kind of what I think upsets some of the bigger teams because it is spreading out that money with those smaller teams.
And PSG, and actually PSG, the French league benefits the most because they get the extra team off the rip with the 4 new teams. So therefore, they'll be equal with the other leagues with having.
That was part of the whole poker play. Let's give PSG just a little something extra so we could just keep them from making the announcement that they're. You know what I mean?
There's not 4 teams in France though. Think about it. There's not. There's Monaco, maybe Lyon. There's Lyon, Monaco, PSG. That's maybe it.
And Lille.
Lyon, they're good. They have good teams. I'm saying
Marseille ain't that far away.
Marseille and Lille, but
they have good teams. But as far as like money teams, I would just say Monaco and PSG.
Yeah, Monaco, PSG. You know.
But they have good teams.
Competitive.
Occasionally, one of them comes good, but it's not a.
That's why they always shock people in Champions League, not just the last couple of years, but always because they have like the French League has a lot of strong talent pool. Is just not that much exposure for whatever reason. But that's where the English league they like regularly go to France to get players. That's like kind of one of the main pathways of.
Did you hear about how the English government is now trying to control this even on the work permit level, talking about so many foreign players. So they say, oh, okay, well, we just denied, your best foreign players a work permit. Now what? Now they can't play for Chelsea. Now they can't play.
Oh, that's kind of how they're trying to pimp the, if y'all want to do the Super League business.
The Super League could go around that, right? They could say, hey, we're going to
they may mess around, just make the MLS better. MLS.
So if you're so let's say that we're in America, so we can say from that perspective, but let's say also like if you're in a South American country, because I'm thinking about that would probably be a region that gets heavily influenced by this as well. What are you thinking from the perspective of a player coming up and let's say like some type of official in one of the soccer federations from either South America or the US or Mexico? Like what are you thinking in those 2 instances from one of those places? Is this a good thing? Like to say like, okay, this could potentially have a pathway for my best player to.
I think it's 50-50. A lot of the clubs are already directly buying from Brazil, you know what I mean, from Argentina. A lot of them were going down there. I mean, Vinicius Jr. came straight out of Brazil.
And look, it seems like a lot of those young players suffered coming out like when it was like that, all of that.
You have some players that develop later, right? You have some players that develop later, so their pipeline might be really narrow. But the ones that are really talented, they're going to come directly anyway. You know what I mean? And look, if you look at Coutinho went straight to Inter Milan. They're in the Super League. He didn't grow there. He came to Liverpool, grew at Liverpool, and went to Barcelona. All 3 teams are in the Super League that he came through.
Wow, and that's
So he has talent. So if he has a talent, you're going to go straight to the Super League teams anyway. You know what I mean? Now you got.
Is that going to be a good environment for a young up and coming player to be in a Super League like that? Like that seems like that's going to have that same bounce around, ruin their confidence type, roller coaster thing. Not all of them, of course. Some people.
Listen, it's high stakes though. I mean, it's win or go home. I mean, when you're talking about 300,000 a week, 18, 19, whatever, you got to put the ball in the back of the onion bag, man. That's just how that goes. You know?
Only 150 cats, or I'm saying like 100, 200 cats can get on the field. So you're only saying 200 of y'all are going to get on the field on any given game day. So,
I mean, the U.S. has been saving Europe since WW1, WW2, and now the U.S. is going to save football now because I think they saw how many people were watching during lockdown over here. I think they started to see them numbers like, yo, people are tuned in to NBC Sports.
And then they were looking for other ways to make revenue because we're losing all.
Because they're maxed out over there. They maxed out.
And what this does for the clubs, though, it gives them instant financial stability. You know what I mean? Where you don't have to worry about how you perform in Champions League. You know, did you qualify for the tournament? None of that even becomes an issue any longer. You're going to get X amount of huge dollars to spend and develop the club, develop your scouting network. It's going to be all right there for you.
But who is that good for, though? Is that good for the club or is that good for the owners? Who says that translates to better scouting? Who says that translates to better anything? You know, maybe they could buy a couple more players.
It just seems like it'll just speed up the process of chewing up and spitting.
But this just lines owner. I think this is just.
Well, I mean, it always boils down to, do you have a good ownership or not? I mean, that, you know, are you empowering the football people, or are you just with the analytic people? You know, it all matters. You know what I mean? So it's going to be the same game, but at least the financial return is consistently there. And I think that's another thing that the pandemic did, is really hurt their ability to make money. I mean, you know, losing a lot of revenue. You know what I mean? And talking about the shirt sales and the scarf sales, don't really need a new scarf when you're not going to match day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they saw the Americans, because people start really, the numbers for the US went up amazing during the pandemic, because people are like, okay.
China's got an angle on this too, because if you know,
oh, China does too. You're right. China does too.
China's not throwing around those crazy contracts like they had been for a good while. They stopped that, you know, and a lot of, and kind of, you know, letting some of those, like a Carlos Tevez going over there. You know what I mean?
Because we predicted Gareth Bale would be on his way there soon. That's what that was.
Crazy money over there. I think they're going to really be, you know, wanting to host these games, and you know what I mean. Asia is just a huge market.
Yeah,
because you thought Ronaldo might go there too, to China too, right? Like to get him a bag.
Possibility, yeah. 450,000.
It's a huge payday for any player over in China.
That's probably his Latan's next stop after he leaves Milan. He'll probably go to China and get him another.
That's what I was saying. Been saying that for a while.
That's what I'm. But now this was the thing. Now, do we see what happens in the US? I talked about it before. Do we see someone saying, you know what, we don't need 4 teams in London. Let's move this one to Tokyo.
To me, and that's where the Super League could be over. Could
to
be
New York.
Beneficial, if it was a global thing like that.
Yes, but we've always wanted to be global.
I think it becomes really interesting if it goes global, and real interesting.
Now you bring. Imagine if they said, "Hey, we're going to bring in NYFC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Inter Miami into this." How does that function?
Look, it'll be, and they get a bag from JP Morgan as a loan to go get players.
Right, and that's funny you said those 2 teams, because the way the chess pieces are set up, that would be the 2 most obvious teams.
Yeah, those are the 2 likely. Yeah.
The bag is sitting there, man. I mean, look, man, I know we the US, we fuck up everything.
The US got in.
I get it. We mess it all up, but we also save you too.
The entire country.
5 out of the 15 teams are owned by Americans, maybe more. Yeah, but at least 5 are owned by Americans.
And I think it's partly Man U's fault in all this. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go ahead and say jump out the window. The Glazers are definitely involved in this. They got their Super Bowl already, so now it was kind of like Sodomont on Lord of the Rings. Now it could change it. I like, hold on, we losing money over here. We already got a Super Bowl. Why don't we make a Super League?
you know who they said who really drove this home in England is you're absolutely right. Ed Woodward and Stan Kroenke. And you know,
Kroenke ain't shit. You know,
Kroenke is known to destroy a franchise.
Yeah.
That's bad news for soccer purists like myself. If you got people like that on the scene.
Well, part of me is selfishly wanting to see Man U versus PSG in Chicago at Soldier Field.
What you're talking about is a season. Like, so now they're gonna play 2 to 4, probably like 4 games. I guess they play 4 times a season, something like that.
No, 2, just 2.
Play each other twice. You play each other twice, but you play every team in the league. So they said it want to be 20 teams. So you playing 19 games, 38 games. That's just like the English league. It's no different.
Yeah.
In 38 games.
There you go.
But what do you eliminate to
the Carabao Cup?
You have to eliminate more than that. That alone don't account for 38 games.
We were saying the Champions League gets relegated to a 2nd-tier league. They're going to have to play with this. So if you win the Champions League, you get automatic entry to the Super League.
Super League.
Yeah.
That's what they did with the Premier League, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So and then Europa League, same way up to you. It's the tournament is tiered now.
Win is an automatic berth. If you win your league, then you are going to a play-in tournament or something.
Yes. we keeping the bag flowing. The money don't stop. We keeping the bag moving. That's gotta move.
That is one way to tie in the current system and kind of keep some level of normalcy and not just let this completely galvanize the entire sport, because that's the alternative. And I think that's what the Super League is going to basically position to UEFA and say, look, you can work with us or we can destroy you.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where it looks like that.
Hey,
they're exercising their position of power.
It's like having a nuke, Double D. It's like having a nuke. Like, and we're the only one with the nuke. You can be like, yo, we're going to do this. All right. Okay. Stop me.
If they really want to take this all the way, they really want to take this all the way, they have to sell the small teams. Now, how do you go about selling the small teams on a league where 15 of 20 can't get relegated? How do you?
That's what I say. I think that.
How do you go to Burnley? How do you go to Burnley and say to Burnley, "Hey"?
But that's I think that's the piece, though. I think you have to have relegation in that other league.
I don't think you have to have it at all.
I think that's what keeps everybody's beak wet, even though Burnley's never going to make the Super League, but at least gives them hope.
Really works for this model.
It's like giving the workers man hope. It's just like in real life. You give people hope that they can be rich. Most people not going to be rich.
Those four teams have hope. You can, if you complete your task and complete the Hunger Games, you can be one of us.
Exactly, because you got to go through Europa, to the Champions League. We're sending you through some leagues to get to this.
To be amongst
us. City did it, right?
We're not going to be knocked down.
Leicester got promoted, went to the Champions League. They won the English League, went to the Champions League. Now they're consistently up there going to Champions League. They're in the top 4 right now. Yeah. They're in a good position to make the Champions League if that's
but see, and it's the thing. Those players, they know, like, okay, the small players, like if you're Burnley, you like, yo, if I get to that Super League, the bag minimum is $300 a week for players. You think cats ain't gonna be balling out in the league to get to the Super League?
It turns it into that, absolutely. And it's still
cats is balling out. Your games is gonna be fly. Cats is gonna be like, yo, we're in the championship of the champion. The next bag is 300.
Here's the thing: is the best output from some of the worst players better than the best output from the best players?
That's what.
Probably not. So Burnley could ball all they want. If everybody else is like, yo, we balling too because we want that bag. You still stuck at the bottom of the table.
But so much incentive. It gives you the hope,
some kind of payment.
There has to be some
trickle-down economics in this.
It's the hope.
The local clubs will be like, okay, if we don't qualify, at least we take home a cool $70 million.
No. You're looking at this wrong. Because could you imagine how much more interesting the transfer window gets when the Super League is looking at Burnley and a transfer window?
But it's not how it works. It's not how it works. How it works, what ends up working, or the way it works in the pro sport world for soccer, these people are getting these prodigies. So these 16 teams, they're not going to any real other pro team to get people unless they just jumping off the charts on highlights. They've already picked these people as 13, 14-year-olds because they've exhibited whatever.
In a lot of cases, but there's also cases where you need a goal scorer. You know what I mean? An injury.
Right, and those people are going to jump off and,
And you can go cherry pick from around the world. I think, like to Dee's point, everybody's balling out, putting their best foot forward, and that's a way to cash in on $300K. That's a really nice carrot to chase. That keeps you game.
The markup on players is going to be ridiculous then. Look at Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins is not a household striker. He has a lot of goals this year. So somebody looking at Ollie Watkins is going to go and say, hey, I'll give you $100 million for Ollie Watkins. I mean, come on, it's Ollie Watkins.
But
these little clubs are gonna say, no, you got money. If you want Ollie Watkins, you got to give us 100.
Well, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Yeah. So for a small team, that's gonna be the model of how to do business. We're gonna make money off of these other 16.
Yeah, but now the money structure is out the door, right? The structure, the cost for players are out the door because people like Ollie Watkins are gonna go for 60 million, 70 million bucks, and people because they know, hey, you got money, you can give us 60 million.
That's where that non-relegation comes into play as well, because that can temper some of the extremes that these teams will go. That, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I got to look at a devil's advocate. I mean, you say all of that, but look at baseball. Baseball's not having a problem with, you can play a player or whatever. Mm-hmm. If you can fund it, there's no problem.
But the thing with baseball is you don't have to, that transfer fee is where it gets tricky for that particular.
But it's only
it's a double tax.
Because that transfer fee is what changes that's what makes soccer.
You're double tax, right? Because you pay 50 million for a player, and then you still got to pay them
his salary. You know what I mean?
No, I completely understand that, but it's
not like I could give you a handful of draft picks.
Back to your original, your original example, though. You know, if that team doesn't want to sell that player and agree to a fee, then that's fine. We can just go find another well-performing striker anywhere else around the world and throw crazy money at that team. Somebody's going to cash out.
Somebody is going to,
at some point, somebody's going to cash in.
Absolutely.
But that's the thing. It gives you hope. It's like, yo, if we can make it to this Champions League as Leicester, we'll be straight. Even if we stay in there 1 year, get our bag up, we'll be back in a year or two potentially, and then build ourselves that way. And it's just like the levels when they made the Premier League and split it off from the other leagues and made the more tiered thing. It's the same thing. It's this evolution. And people are pushing back against.
I wouldn't say it's evolution. I would disagree.
I don't know about evolution.
I know that me and B are in the small percentage of the people that are in favor of this Super League. Y'all not seeing the big marketing dollars. Yeah. The money that
I'm seeing the financial side. Yes.
Look, we getting Harry Kane. We getting everybody. If we go into this, we get everybody up front, and then you can play. Look, think about it. Now I can field 30 dope players. Put some of them out during the Premier League during that time too as well. If they want to keep us, whatever. If y'all don't keep us, y'all gonna die anyway. So y'all might as well keep us. Even if we putting a second-rate team out there, that's still better than nothing. So we gonna do what we gonna do on our side. You can't stop me from getting other bread. That's my whole thing. Is that you can't stop me from getting other bread.
Period.
I sent you a text about it, B. I was like, yo, why don't the Premier League have an all-star game?
It just never fit the model.
How many people watch the game?
They have friendlies and stuff like that where they'll have all-star.
No player wants to risk injury in an all-star. Right. That's the key. This is
okay. The winning team gets 10 mil. Are y'all showing up?
They do charity.
It has to translate back to the players.
I think that's something that you could see with this Super League. That'd be another exciting wrinkle, something new to bring to the.
Oh yeah, with the All-Star match.
I tell you what, if this Super League thing pulls off, like you are killing off the history of the game. But I could see the Super League. Soccer finally takes this big jump. Football finally takes this jump and becomes a top 3 sport in the USA.
Yep.
This is how you get.
That's in the USA though. It's already in the world.
For the USA, it's Hispanic. For the USA,
they're already accepting Black Lives Matter.
No. For the USA, this is a great thing, right? This is great for the USA. For everybody else in the world, like, hey, what the hell is this? Right. It's already the #1 sport in the world. Now you're trying to.
You get rid of all of the calendar conflicts. Now you got all the best people on one calendar all around the world. It eliminates so many problems. Seriously.
Look, it's right to take over for hockey and baseball. It's right there.
Man, I think baseball holds its spot. I think hockey's out of there.
Hockey has been falling off.
For our Caucasian, listeners, I think they might like this as well because they don't like the NFL no more. What's going on in kneeling? This might be a better play for them.
Oh, but they already kneeling though. Remember, they've been kneeling before everybody else was.
But the Super League might have their own thing running.
Oh, the Super League, we ain't kneeling in the Super League. You know that ain't happening.
All that money they making, they might have to though, because the pockets gonna be heavy, man. They're gonna have to take.
No, they're gonna be kneeling because their pockets. Look, man, I'm just saying, this is what we make a video game for. This is like a dream.
Speaking of which, because I was thinking about this as a point as well, man. Like it's a trip too, like with this league, because I was remembering the news about how Juventus and AC Milan they established rights to have their own video games, or either
they're on Soccer Revolution, so that's why on FIFA their name is Piedmont Calico. They're not Juventus.
I could see something like this really jumping out to where
tell me you ain't buying the Super League game. I don't even know who's making it. I'm getting it. I don't even know. I don't even know if it's EA. I don't know who it is, but I'm getting
Pro European Super League.
Yes.
2024. Yes. You want it like damn.
Yes. I know. Look, all our English listeners, I know they're pissed off at us right now. But look here, man. This is an American thing. We have taken over the world. We are global.
This is a terrible idea. For the
views of listen, the
terrible idea for you.
It is terrible idea for y'all. I get it. But we selfish over here, and we about getting that bag for people. And I see a lot of brothers getting paid off of this too. So I definitely want to see some brothers get paid. So I'm just saying.
Oh snap, man.
I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence myself, but I see a lot of upside. I got a lot of love and respect for the history of the game, but everything changes and has to modernize. And I think this is just one of those next steps, man.
And this is going to be one of those things, I think if it does, I mean, honestly, all jokes aside, they need to figure out some kind of middle ground for this.
Yeah, I think
because it's getting old. The Champions League is getting old and stale.
But so this
they need to revamp the money distribution. That's what they have to revamp.
That's exactly what they had to do. This would be the first time any European competition has undergone changes. It wasn't always the Champions League, you remember? And Europa was always Europa League. It was called something else back then, Intertoto Cup. Continental Championship. They had all, and then the league developed, things change, rules change, play change, everything changes. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's not due some changes. It's just that the Super League is such an extreme. You get what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to go to the extreme. Let's rework the Champions League, if we even call it something else, because let's face it, there's people in there who aren't champions. So let's call it something else. That's you can rebrand the name. You can do all of that. Change it. Give it a better format. Give the clubs a better payout. I mean, you're pocketing $700 million, and you're giving the man who is out there running around, blood, sweat, and tears, $100 million. Like, that's one player. I can only purchase one player from winning this tournament. Like that. That's the fee for Kylian Mbappe right now. $110 million. So I win this, I can buy.
I think Kylian Mbappe is more than that. I think he's
probably is.
I think he's 200 plus.
But here's the thing, and that's the thing. Even if I win this tournament, I can't buy him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're pocketing $700 million. No, so I think the whole.
But the JP Morgan deal, I'm immediately coming to 110 mil of cash flat out, like a check written 110.
Like what sets the standard for these for the 16 teams? So these teams that. I know it's not 16 total right now, but however many had wanted to break away. So what's the standard for that's set? So how are these 16 teams determined to be Super League?
If you got the bread, basically if you got the bread to put up, you can come on in.
So they're trying to, and see that's where an issue comes in. I'm trying to think of how they can come to a middle ground.
What happened in
you're saying is this based off of your revenue stream is what
the Big Ten came in. SEC got their thing up, and expanded, and it's like, yo, you know what? We want that Mizzou market. We want that Texas market. Big Ten is like, I want the East Coast market. And it sucked for a while, but now you're like, damn, it's 14 teams. It's like, okay. I like seeing Michigan play, such and such now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took a lot away from it, but it's the money that grabbed it. And people got to understand to be able to have that in between. You can't fight the money. You can try to envision the money and try to influence the money, but you can't stop the bag.
Right, no, and I don't think they want to stop it.
No. If people think those grassroots efforts are going to really do something, these cats don't care.
Dollars always has been.
They're not trying to stop the money because the money is there to be made. I think it's just a matter of let's keep making the money without blowing up the existing structure that we have. I think they're trying to keep that structure and still get that money flowing through the existing structure somehow. But it's just trying to, it's not so much they need another league, it's just they need something that's going
they need something
to
that'll
protect the money for those teams.
Yeah. I think if you allow each team to negotiate their own TV rights, give them that. Throw that out.
Or certain teams that qualify for their right, or so however you want to do it.
If you qualify, you get to negotiate your own TV deals. Negotiate what's shown when your game is shown, right? So you get all of your home games in the Champions League. Those are yours to negotiate. You know, you play 4 games in the first round or whatever it is right now. That might change. But for example, using this format now, you play 4 games at home in the first round. So you can negotiate for those 4 games. If you advance, you got another game there. You got, you keep going. So you negotiate that deal in advance. You say, here's how much you want for these 4 games. If we make this slot, here's how much you pay. Here's how much you pay for here. You know what I mean? And you go from there. Give them the right to negotiate, because then if they can take that money directly to their pocket, plus the payout from winning and all that, now it's a little bit more, it gives you a little bit more incentive, as a club. You get more money out of the deal. Now you might say, hey,
make a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense.
Let them wet their beak, man. Let them wet their beak a little bit. It's you can't stop the money. And look, like I said, Solomon, the Glazers got time now. They got time to play. They already got their Super Bowl. So now they're like, man, we need to get this other. This other money sitting there we ain't even think about. Yeah. I saw this podcast with 2 black dudes and talking about a Super League. I think this might be a good idea.
This might be the time to make that move.
I hope that check's in the mail, D. I hope the check.
I know, because we used to talk about this last year when we first started the podcast.
I'm on my way to the bank. I'm trying to tell you, I got to be on my way to the bank.
we ours are a little bit different. I don't think they really thought theirs all the way out. Like we developed the whole thing. We had selected the teams.
Y'all went with absolutely no regard for any type of nostalgia.
Just what we felt, and I don't even think we let Arsenal in. It was the top 6 teams from England.
Yeah, we showed a little bit of love on the historically good quality club.
Yeah, and then we said you could play your way in for the last 4 spots of relegation per pool. We had ours in pools.
Oh, okay.
This is gonna be interesting, man. But you got UEFA coming out making their official statement, I believe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. And I think the main guy from FIFA, he's going to meet with UEFA. And then you got the rest of the Premier League clubs, they're supposed to be meeting. We kind of touched on this a little bit, talking about punishing these English clubs that have already kind of signed on the dotted line for this. Is like, what happens if you remove points from this current table, like right now? Swift justice, swift consequences. What does that do to shake it up?
That means this Super League, you're going to push the Super League into full gear. I think if you do that. Because now you're playing my hand. Like, okay, so
you said it's nuclear war, but
but you're trying to take bread out of my pocket currently. Let us go to court, do whatever we got to do. You want to take bread out of my pocket now? All right, bet. We start the Super League next year. You think you can't figure out the fixtures that fast?
Well, it's just 16 teams. They just have to. They all have their own stadiums, so you know what I mean. It's not like they'd be running into. It's just all about.
They own the stadiums, so it's not like here where you got some of the stadiums that the city actually owns. They own them.
Yeah, they can play whenever they want to.
Or nothing like that. They're not having those types of.
Do y'all think that they're really going to try to take away points?
On the league, maybe because other things are at stake, but it has to be a bluff.
If you violate the bylaws during this season, why can't you get your consequence during this season?
Oh, that's true. Well, one thing too, I think would be a good compromise, that they could have this under the existing UEFA structure, is just with these 16 teams that identify themselves, or however many that identify themselves as being, and make it about money. It's just make it that, but just call it something, whatever.
20 league.
Let's say 16, 20 teams that have qualified financially and they all come into agreement. Let them have their own cup within the UEFA structure, that our league, you can call it, within the UEFA structure, while everything else is going on. So now, for certain teams, like if you're in the English league, don't worry about the Carabao Cup, unless you just want to send your under 23 people out there, because we're not gonna, really put that kind of pressure on y'all, because we don't have another league.
That sounds good, but the fan dollar only goes so far. The fan only has so much money to spend. So where is he gonna spend it? Probably on that Super League. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who wants to watch, Stanford United on a, Wednesday night off the coast of Portsmouth? When you could be watching Real Madrid against, Manchester United at the Theater of Dreams, like.
So that's the thing. So that's why I'm like, stay in your domestic league. Stay in. You know what? I would just say domestic league and Champions League or Europa, and then you're also in the Super League. Those three leagues. If you want to participate in your domestic cup, like the FA Cup, Italian Cup, Spanish.
And you can gear up more too. So now we can keep Dean Henderson and ahead, because we got to play more games, baby. We got more games to play. So
that's supposed to get tricky. Like you can't give them teams different kind of
Ricky, man.
Y'all already got a different revenue stream. I don't know how you'd have to have the fair play set up, because they're gonna be making so much more money. So I don't know how
there can be no fair play though. There can't be anything that's fair play. Yeah. At this point, it's not fair. It isn't fair. And nothing you do is ever gonna make it fair. I'm pulling 350 million a year, and I'm looking at you like it can never be fair, my friend.
But those teams still get beat.
I'm not saying they don't. The likelihood though is it's not that great.
They don't get beat at the bank, though.
What is the last Cinderella to win the Champions League? Where I was like, these
to win it? Oh, no, I didn't. I mean, not too long ago. Well, Liverpool had one where they beat.
Yeah, we beat AC Milan. We beat the great AC Milan.
But were y'all Cinderella? I'm talking about like.
Yeah, we were in 2005.
They weren't supposed to get to the finals.
In 2005.
I consider Cinderella like Rangers. Like, is somebody like when is the last time somebody like
Rangers? Liverpool was a Cinderella.
Now you're going way beyond Cinderella.
The closest thing I thought was Ajax.
They had been hyphenated for 35.
Ajax has history in the league, though. That ain't Ajax.
Ajax had to go from opening rounds. I'm talking about somebody had to go from all the way from the qualifying. They had to qualify.
We didn't win it, but we went all the way to the finals from qualifying. Liverpool just did that. Well, we lost when old boy got a concussion and we lost to Real Madrid. We came all the way from the very, very first round, like before the real thing started.
That era for Liverpool was not the era for Liverpool now. They were a Cinderella back then.
Yeah, we were a strong enough team, but we weren't like, and then we came from nothing. This is AC Milan with Kaká. This is Kaká.
That was a great AC Milan team. Seedorf was on the team.
This was
Maldini was still playing.
Yeah. It was a crazy AC Milan side. Like,
that was a huge
thought. We were down 3-0 at halftime. This is a final, and Liverpool is down 3-0 at halftime. And come back to win the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's a hell of a story. You're right about that.
Yeah, we come back to win the whole thing. We're down by
one of the last ones to win it as a you could say was a Cinderella. I'd say probably that one. That was one of the better finals ever too.
Probably the greatest final ever. It is. How many finals do you come from 3-0 down at halftime to win a game?
I'll say one that was also good was the Manchester United Bayern Munich win, like in '99. That one was real good.
Oh, I remember that.
For 2 goals at like the last minute.
Yeah,
I remember.
That's when we got that trouble. That was the year we got that trouble.
Yep.
That was
We were losing all that game. Bayern Munich was really good that particular.
Yeah, Bayern Munich was good.
All right, fellas. So a Super League. We'll see how this plays out during the week. This is the most. This is the most drama. No, this is the most drama. Actually, football needed this, because think about how many clicks people around the world are like. It's leading Sports Center.
Because it's a bit
it's big.
Think about us Americans.
America. This is
America's the ruin everything. That's what the headline says.
That's not somebody in Chicago's thinking. They're like, oh, a Super League, that'd be kind of fly.
Right.
You know,
let me get on Facebook and say so. Let me get on Twitter and say so.
It's hitting all the clubs that they actually know. So it's
right.
it's an easy transition. You know what I mean?
The Glazers, they paid that money to ESPN to show that on ESPN to lead the story like that for SportsCenter.
See,
who's this West Brom you talk about?
Yeah.
You got the New England Sports Network. They got all the American networks in there.
That's why they're not trying to get them German teams either, because they're like, man, nobody can even pronounce them teams.
Right.
I don't see if this league actually happens that these teams that claim they're not going to be in, they're not going to be in. I can't see Bayern not being in this.
But their culture is different.
But you're basically giving a death knell to Bayern at that point.
Not really.
I don't know, because there's no German teams in it. So no German team signs up. Bayern is still king.
Yeah, they are.
They're all right. They still king.
We'll have Champions League.
But when you don't have Lewandowski no more because he went to Chelsea because Chelsea threw him that bag for $250, then it's going to become a problem.
He's making money already at Bayern. He's already making it.
Where did Lewandowski come from?
I think what D is saying is if that happens and you're on the outside looking in, you're going to lose everything that you built because eventually you won't be able to keep up.
Attritional,
And if you're,
I don't know.
The only way
I don't think so.
Your position is through scouting.
But I'm just saying, like, that particular team or organization or brand, Munich can survive that. They'll still be making.
I'm gonna disagree because of the structure of the German league. I'm gonna disagree. Very few players come from somewhere else to Bayern Munich. Most of them come from inside Germany.
Oh, right.
Might be from another country, but they're not buying players from outside of Germany.
They go to Dortmund first. So
Lewandowski came from Dortmund. Most of their players come from another German team.
Yeah.
That German team might develop them, and then they just buy them. They don't really buy too many players from teams outside of Germany.
No,
that's Sané.
Very few.
He's German, though.
Leroy Sané played for Man City.
But he came from Schalke.
He's German. That's what I'm saying. Like, so that was kind of,
Remember, he came from Schalke, and and they just sent him back to Germany.
Right. That's right.
But he came from Schalke originally. He wasn't in England the whole time. He came from Schalke.
Rick, I think you're absolutely right about that, man. But what I'm saying is that the other teams in Germany are picking off young talent from other countries, and then once
Bayern picks them all from them once they get
exactly.
Right.
But I think that's
the young talent when they get to the prime age, they just fix them over.
Yeah. But what happens to Byron when that supply line changes?
That supply line might not change, though.
It very well could change.
Because a lot of these cats are producing through the academy. And a lot of the German players come through
academy. You still got to look at it like that. Like a good example.
They're not going to Brazil. Brazilians.
Like that's another example to where they're not the same force as far as financially that they were, but they still put out decent teams and they still dominate their particular league. And every so often, because their academy has always been such a strong factor in them being good, they have those generations where they'll have deep runs in Champions League because they're cold. They end up losing all those people, that same summer.
But think about this: there's other pipelines. If you don't have any Russian teams in the Super League, Russia is a big pipeline for Brazilians.
Yeah,
a lot of Brazilian talent goes to Russia.
And then they get around the work permit laws.
Huge. They go to Russia, they get developed.
That was kind of like one of the ways they fast-tracked their popularity. Japan did the same thing. They imported a lot of
Shakhtar. Remember Shakhtar?
I thought we should have done the same thing with MLS. We didn't go there route.
Yeah. So there's
other avenues. You also have clubs who are working together, like look at Watford. They have a team in Spain and they have a team in Italy that they treat as a incubator to feed the Premier League club. So what happens if
strategy?
These Super League teams just buy up a couple of, like I can see Chelsea just using Vitesse in the Netherlands as a incubator club.
That's what you do right now.
That's what happens.
You do that right now. This is not like I can see it happening. No, it is happening. That's what you do.
5 of them, no. 5 feeder teams.
Listen, it's crazy. At one point, Vitesse, you had like 6 guys on their starting 11.
Trying to see who can do what. Trying to see.
Listen, it's a Red Bull strategy. Look how Red Bull do everything.
Exactly.
Red Bull got 2 of everything, right? They don't buy 1, they buy 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got 2 of it. They got 2 Formula 1 teams.
Yeah.
They got two, because they got two teams in Europe, right? Because they got Salzburg
and
right?
Leipzig.
They got Leipzig.
Yep.
And all they do is feed. And then they got teams in MLS too.
That's true.
It's the Red Bull strategy. Red Bull buys everything so they can feed each other.
So does Red Bull is Leipzig owned by the fans too? Or
Leipzig is owned by Red Bull.
Oh, see, there you go. There's the kink in the armor right there. It's Red Bull.
Nobody in Germany likes Leipzig because they said it's the team that they're playing with money. They're forcing money.
Yeah. If they don't join the Super League,
absolutely. They might be there because they're a new team for the Bundesliga.
They're relatively new for the Bundesliga. Yeah, they came up real quick.
Yeah, because they were like in League 3 at one point, and
Red Bull came in and just spent tons of money, bought a lot of players, stuffed up their academy.
They Man City their way to
that team up rapidly. That team came up quick.
That seems like a perfect candidate for our Super League right there.
Because of their structure, because of being a Red Bull team like that. That's what, just like y'all, like New York, like you said, Rick, man, New York, Inter Miami, I could see that because that lines up with Red Bull as a company. Right, on both of these teams.
I see we have a German contingent now coming with Red Bull. RB Leipzig is now joined the Super League.
Or you could have Salzburg.
And look, and don't sleep. There's somebody it'd be some teams that'll be on a low, like an Ajax or something like, oh no, we'll go. And on the low, like after the dust is clear, like, and then like, hey man, we're gonna leave our league too. And it's gonna be like some last entrance that's gonna jump off the ship.
They're gonna have to close it up. They're gonna close up the ship. Sorry, we're all full.
So I mean,
PSG got their ticket though. PSG got their VIP ticket. They just wait.
They just waiting.
They just wait to cash in. I think PSG was waiting to see what the reaction gets.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they're the only one coming from France.
Let's see what the latter has to say, and then make a decision.
Think about it. You got 3 Italians, 3 Spanish, 6 English, 1 French. They got to wait till everybody else kind of, they can't just jump ship. They're the only one,
Right.
They got to wait till the dust settles and be like, oh yeah, by the way, we're sliding over here.
Right.
No, what they're gonna say is
actual federation
they forced our hand. They forced our hand. We have to, if we want to be competitive, we have to join the Super League.
Now they can play victim,
Yeah, like we have to.
We're doing this for y'all guys. We're doing this for the French Federation. This is gonna
hurt us more than it's gonna hurt you.
And then you're gonna see Bayern or somebody come out like, you know what? We really thought about it. It's not that bad of an idea, and we have the right people in place.
It's going to put on the fans. We thought about it. We didn't want to do it, but the fans been clamoring for us to do it. So we're going to get the fans what they want. We don't want to, but they wanted it. Fans like, man,
you got to do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we never said that.
Well, fellas, thank y'all for joining us on this one, man. Rick, where can they hit you up online, man?
Hey, man, I'm on IG. You can hit me. It's at RickyFur1. Same thing on Twitter.
All right. Double D, where can they hit you at?
Same spots for Twitter and Instagram. Sefu Benu, hit me up. Drop me a line. Look out for any future soccer talk.
All right, B, where can they hit you up at on Twitter?
Yeah, Phoenix Piff, man, on Twitter, man. Definitely reach out. Love the banter back and forth, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I already know this is finna. I'm gonna be called all kind of sea monkeys or whatever because I'm with the Super League. I get to see the English contingent. It's gonna happen overnight too, because that's when it happens. Because they're the hour time. That's when it's gonna happen.
Hey, English listeners, man, just know that there are Americans that do have soccer couth and respect for nostalgia and tradition.
I'm gonna say this, y'all don't like it here. We've been saving y'all since 1990. But all them black soldiers coming over there helping out in France, Italy, Tuskegee Airmen. And I ain't even brought into the mainstream part of America. I'm just about the black folks that went over there and helped save y'all.
Yeah.
WW1, WW2. And now we finna save soccer.
Hey, don't go technical on them and go to the Moors now.
Right, that's what I said. I don't even want to go back to Spain. You know what I'm saying? Carthage. Hannibal
over there before we showed up.
Right. But make sure y'all email us. Just Kicking It Pod. This has just been fun. I'm interested to see how this is gonna go. I mean, if it's not going to be for real going forward, I just want them to just be like, yo, we fucked up and just go back to where it's going to be. If y'all not going to do this, do it. Don't just be using and posturing back and forth for it. Let's just do it.
Hey, we might need to reconvene, man, depending on what UEFA and FIFA.
Yeah, we may have to come back into it in 48 hours.
After the announcement, which should be the day, probably tomorrow, if not.
That's what they claim.
So, I guess they might wait till Friday to put a dramatic effect.
All right. When the news breaks, we'll be here.
Right, exactly. All right, everybody, y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it, man.
I'll see y'all later.